go ahead, we can create the game.
Ready? Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Joe Millar.
Here.
Councilmembers Jerry Tavai.
Here.
Robert Fowler.
Here.
Fritz Cordell.
Here. And to entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make that motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Meeting open to the public.
No one signed up yet.
Moving on to new business. Start with Joe.
So fire department, starting in December, started taking applicants for the promotional positions approved by council. We held interviews in late December and then settled on appointments last week. Requires council approval. So with that being said, we've made offers to captain's positions, Carl Johnson, Chad Schrader, and Evan Sturzel, and lieutenant position to Sam Strasburg. So with that being said, we're looking for a motion tonight to approve.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Mr. Bauer.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, just my knowledge about the fire department, I'm a little concerned of why we need in such a small one building fire department 3 captains. It's not typical. I just I want to hear how the layout's going to be for.
So we have a captain of the operations division, which is going to kind of take over station duties involving equipment, trucks, personnel, everything involved at the station. Second position is going to be a training captain who's going to take over the training schedule, assist with entering in people's certificates and all that into the FDM program. And then the last position is going to be the inspections and pub ed position, which will be helping to assist perform inspections throughout the year, and then especially come October geared towards public ed events, organizing all of that through the fire department. We're going to have some changes coming up here with the Relief Association. We're going to work with them, but it won't be the traditional Relief Association that has taken on some of those pub ed events. Anything that they're not going to take on or that we can assist with, this position is going to be working with them with. So, and then last is the lieutenant's position, which we want to make sure we have a backup to those 3 positions in the event that anything happens. And these are 2-year appointments, just so everyone's aware. Also, that position is going to help out with the technology side. Our lieutenant is very good with our technology, especially with FDM, which is a program that we'll be hearing more about coming up here in the future, county-wide, whether it's a program that they like or not. But it definitely requires somebody with that skill set, which he definitely possesses. So as for the numbers, I think we kind of hit on it at council when we approved those positions, that we're an on-call department. I would like to, it'd be great if we just had 1 position. That would be probably cost effective, but it's not the reality of what we can work with in an on-call setting. You're asking the fire department for 24/7 service on an on-call basis, and that can't be done with 1, it can't be done with 2. Even if you had 3 full-time jobs, you'd need more than 3 full-time people to cover 24/7. We're trying to do it with on-call people who are working other jobs, they have other things going on in their life, so that's kind of the logic behind it.
Okay. Thank you.
No, I think sounds fine to me.
No, it sounds to be good to me. I concur with the fire department. Wasn't that long ago we've had some, fire calls that, there was a structure fire in St. Francis, and very few people in St. Francis actually responded. I talked with the chief and the assistant chief, and you know, bluntly, it's kind of a black eye, you know, I think for the fire departments. And you know, I think these steps, putting the proper people in place to lead, in places of leadership that kind of exhibit the type of leadership qualities that we want. I do think in the fire department it's a, you know, it flows from the top down, and when you get good people in top, I think it kind of inspires the people at the bottom to do a better job. So I have confidence in the fire department to fill these positions. I don't have an issue with it. I think it'd be a good move.
Okay. I guess the only question I would have is in regards to the budget. I'm assuming that's going to be, you know, it's budgeted for as.
Chief Schmidt's budgeted all of this through 2018. We do still have 8 new hires that we're going to be looking at as we, you know, start to look at 2019, 2020 and further. So as of right now, all of this is covered under our current budget.
Okay. Any further discussion? No? I guess I will entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Temp, I will make a motion that the city accepts the appointments of for the fire department captains and lieutenant.
Do I hear a second?
Mr. Mayor, I would second. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I should say. I don't want to give you a promotion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And second meeting open. Would assume nobody signed up. Greg? Mike? Secretary over here. All right, and I guess we'll move on to reports, starting with Paul.
Good evening, council. In your packets tonight, we have our monthly and annual reports for all of our departments. Some interesting notes that I like and I enjoy looking at is in our water treatment report and the annual. You'll see that last year's finished water total was 168 million gallons of water for an average of 460,000 gallons a day. So that ends up being quite a bit of water. The wastewater in that same report, if you look, you'll see that, and keep in mind the wastewater treatment plant has only been online since April, but you're seeing 99% removal of most of those constituents there, the TSS, the CBOD, the phosphorus, and the ammonium nitrogen. So again, the performance of the wastewater treatment plant is doing really well. You'll see also on sewer on the annual, we had 20 lift stations throughout the year that we did have to get into and remove rags from the impellers, and that is just a result of people flushing stuff that they're not supposed to be flushing. So that does add up to be a substantial number when you're talking about man hours and cleaning those pumps out and putting them back online, and the potential risk associated with that for neighbors to have sewage backing up in their homes because people are continually flushing these rags when they should just be throwing them in the garbage. Sewer jetting, you'll see that we jetted nearly 23,000 linear feet of sanitary sewer pipe. That is approximately 1/5 of the city, and that kind of follows in line with our program and what the League of Minnesota Cities recommends, that we're getting through our system every 5 years. Also, in that same report, you'll see the asset inventory that took place for our new wastewater treatment plant, getting all of that new equipment inventoried and into the program. Just on the monthly for December for water and sewer, you'll see some higher removals there as far as our percentage. You'll see 100% removal on 2 of those constituents. And the reason I want to point that out is there was some concern about what the plant is going to do given the cold temperatures. And as you can see, the results here, through that month of December are outstanding. So we're pleased at what that plant is able to do even with the cold. Moving on to the streets and parks monthly report. Applying water on rinks. Just in December alone, we applied 44,000 gallons of water on those rinks, trying to get them flooded and ready for skating. So that was a big task and a lot of water, but they are up and running. On the yearly, we have, remember, from January 1st to the end of December for the year, we had plowed 423 miles of roadway, so that's a significant amount again, but you know, we've had pretty light winters. They are more nuisance than anything with the 1 inch and inch and a half here and there, and then the rain and the ice that causes us to be out on the streets as much or more, but we're not necessarily plowing. And then again on the ice rinks, just in total for the year of 2017, 92,000 gallons of water that go on those rinks, keeping them flooded. With that, I'll answer any questions that you might have. I'm sorry.
Gary?
I don't have any questions. Just something I just wanted to interject is one of the reasons why Mr. Teicher was concerned about the cold weather is when we're talking about an activated sludge plant, which is what we have a lot of bacteria and they're activated with a lot of air. And everybody knows that the colder things get, bacteria don't like to move so much and be as active. And that's why temperature is very important when you start talking about wastewater treatment. So with the colder weather, that's what Mr. Teicher's talking about is the bacteria not being able to attack and eat up all those contaminants and make clean water. So it just, you know, it's pleasing for me to find out that the plant's actually doing what it's supposed to do, and it's under tells me it's under a pretty good controlled environment if we're getting that kind of removal. So.
Well, the only thing I have is maybe we need to put it on a page on our website of flushable items, not flushable, for our residents to kind of, you know, if they see it, you know, why are they flushing it, you know, that type of thing. Maybe it'll wake them up to say, hey, that's really not flushable. So that's what I would like to see is, I'd hate this plant to go south really fast because people think it's brand new, they can throw whatever they want in that pipe, so.
I do know that the city puts it on all the newsletters on what's flushable and what's not. And part of the problem is a lot of the manufacturers, I mean, they're called flushable wipes. That's what everybody calls them.
But they're
And
not.
it doesn't mean they're biodegradable wipes, and you know, they're still a cloth fabric. You know, toilet paper to be toilet paper, I mean, when you get it wet, it just falls apart on you. But these flushable wipes don't. I mean, you get them wet, I mean, hell, it's kind of like a Bounty paper towel. You know, it's still good, you know, and wring it out, and you use it again and again, you know, so that's the problem.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people, they look at the name and, well, it says flushable wipes, and they really do. I mean, it gets around the impellers, and then it also chews up all the seals as well. You know, and it's just turns out to be like a bunch of strands of dental floss in there, and it's really hard on them.
I suggest we have Mr. Teicher come out with a video. When I took a little class about septic systems from the county many years ago, and they had this little example of two mason jars, and one's got toilet paper and water in it, the other one's got like a paper towel and water in it. You shake it all up, and sure enough, the one with toilet paper in it, you know, kind of turns into just little particles that'll, you know, same kind of principle. I mean, a septic system works a little bit differently, but so I think Mr. Teicher ought to have put a video up on the website and have two little jars and show people what happens to, here's what's supposed to go down the pipes, and here's what's not supposed to go down the pipes. Here's what happens. Or put a nice gross video of what your employees have to do cleaning out pumps. I mean, I don't know what else to do, you know? Or one thing I was thinking about when I saw the number of, you know, pumps you had to go deal with, those take X number of man hours, how much does that cost us? I mean, you can quantify that, you know? But you're never gonna get through to everybody, but if you got through to some people, I don't know what the magic solution is, but to me, it's either Hollywood production or.
See if the school
more
will make a
education. I
video,
don't know.
chemistry video.
I will volunteer to co-star in that, Paul, just so you're not alone. Yeah, I think all I was gonna bring up was, basically what Jerry brought up, because I know we had conversation before where just because it says it's named flushable with the power suggestion, I know you talked to me and Steve when we took our fabulous tour over there. Obviously, anywhere people can access it is good. If it's on the newsletter, that's good, but throwing it up, I don't know how many people are gonna search Public Works on there, but, you know, I try to direct them towards you guys, you know, when it's necessary. I don't have any other questions, but I was gonna mention when you were out, I talked to Parrish about the ice rink. Somebody had complaints about the choppy ice and with the kind of thawing and stuff. And I don't know how much he addressed it. I know I relayed it to him, and I told the people I relayed it to him. I haven't heard anything else back from them, so that's probably a good thing. But I haven't checked it out either, but I just wanted to thank Parrish for that while you were out as well. And police department. We're all done with Paul, sorry. Good, okay, sorry.
Mayor, Council, in your packet, you're going to see the Police Department Annual Report. You're going to see a summary of the various functions of the Police Department and an overview of the programs and events that we held in 2017. A major initiative for us in 2017 was to expand on our community outreach programs. Most of these were very successful, and I think, you know, it benefits the officers just the same as the citizens to when you get that positive interaction. So I think, you know, we had a lot of volunteers from the police department participating in these things, and it was just very successful in my eyes. And 2018, we hope to expand on that even further. So, also in the report, we did add the officers' photos and some quick information about them, just to kind of put some faces to some names out there. Calls for service in 2017, actually our calls for service actually increased about 700 calls, or about 18%. Most of these, well, actually all these increases were seen in the 3, 4, and 5 offense categories. Our 1 and 2 offenses actually decreased, or these are certainly the types of calls we like to see decrease, because the 1 and 2 offenses are violent crimes and property crimes. So they actually decrease in our 3, 4, and 5 offenses, which are non-reportable offenses or incidents, such as there are more regular type calls, suspicious activity, medicals, vehicle accidents, things of that nature that our officers respond to on a daily basis. They went up to about 700 calls. So it was a busy year. You know, we're looking forward to 2018, again, expanding our community outreach, and just see what it brings. So, and I just thank the council for your continued support of us as well. So with that, I can answer any questions that you might have.
I've got nothing.
Rob?
The only question I have is about agency assists. That went up over 100%. Can you kind of explain what that is and who we're providing a service to other than our residents?
Yep, agency assists are, we basically have a mutual aid kind of agreement between us and the Inoka County Sheriff's Office. Typically, a majority of them assists are taking place at night, where personnel obviously decreases quite substantially for both agencies. So we do tend to help each one another out when the calls warrant that. I don't have a real clear answer why that increase was so substantial, but again, it does fall back to agencies assisting one another on certain types of calls that they might not have the personnel to respond to safely to that. So.
My concern is when we're taking our officers out of the city of St. Francis to assist another agency, that leaves our city vulnerable. And we talked about this when we tried to make a proposal to increase our area. And clearly by these numbers, I think maybe that would have been a good idea. So. That's all I have.
Rich?
I was gonna have the same question. The agency assist number really did jump out, because I had the same question. So that was the only question I have, but I really commend you on this report, especially the org chart with the faces and the names. I really like that. That's good job.
I guess for me, I appreciate the report as well. The thoroughness of it, it explains a lot to us, and I'd encourage the residents too to look at the packet, check out the report. You get more information there. Help you understand more about what we're paying for as residents. Yeah, I guess the biggest concern I have as well is the agency assist. How it would jump that significant, or I guess more, I'd like to understand more why it jumps so significant from one year to the next. I mean, I understand we should be helping each other out. Nothing wrong with that. But to that level, I guess, it's interesting to see that large increase. But other than that, I don't have any questions. So, and then thank you for the community outreach. I think that's huge. I think, I'd love to see that throughout the entire country. The more positive, not that they're not doing it, I'm sure everybody's trying something, and the more interaction we can have with our people, to have that positive interaction and just gain that camaraderie and trust, as we're all people here, and we all need to get along one way or another. I think it's huge, so I appreciate that. Anything else? Moving on, council member reports. Volunteers?
I'll start, if it's okay. The last watershed report was January 2nd. That was the same day we had our city council meeting. So I was unable to attend that. However, between the periods of now and then, there's been several hacking of the watershed's website, and I want to caution everybody here at the city as well. There's been a series of fraudulent and malicious type emails that are sent out, and they look pretty legitimate. So if you have any questions about anything, what they recommend is, don't open up any attachments. Open up a brand new email. Look at the confirmed email address and import that into the email and send them an email and ask them if it's legitimate. Because there's been emails asking for money. Hey, this invoice is due. You want to please pay this invoice, and it's an invoice to a fraudulent, account. So, I'm sure that it's not just with the watershed district, but I'm sure it affects us here too. So, I do want to tell everybody that that's going around. It's a big deal. The watershed department is trying to rebuild the website as we speak, and the old website was pretty antiquated, and they want to try to make it more hacker proof, if that's a word. But other than that, I do want to commend Public Works. I know we've had some icy cold weather. I know that the salt solution that we put down, it takes a certain temperature before it's activated, and but even today I noticed a huge difference. It's kind of funny, just 1 or 2 degrees either way can activate that, and all of a sudden everything's melted off, or all of a sudden if it's 2 degrees the other way, and it's still slippery. But I noticed today that a lot of the roads around town were clearing up, and so I know they've been out working and applying that chemical. So I think they're doing a great job. I know they've had a challenge with extremely cold weather and equipment like anything. Hydraulic fluid it gets thick as molasses when it gets cold. So in the winter we typically do experience quite a bit more breakdowns too, just by using the hydraulics of the equipment, and it is trying. So I do want to commend them for as cold as it's been, to be out there, and I haven't noticed any skipping any of the service. You know, the roads are still getting plowed good, and I'm seeing granite chips and solution put down throughout the whole city, so I like it. I think they're doing a great job.
I'd like to start off by seeing, it's a new year. Kind of sat back over the last year, kind of learning this job and trying my best to get a lot of things done for the residents. And my goal this year for the residents is to cut the budget by 5%. That's my goal. Hopefully that'll be an achievable goal. Other than that, that's all I have.
Rich? All right, I guess I have 3 things. I never know if I should bring this stuff up in new business or whatever. But let me bounce a couple things off you. First off, Highway 47. I know the mayor's had some discussions with the state about a stoplight, and you know, we're going to be, hopefully, the Woodhaven development's going to develop, you know, north where Quick Trip's going in, but that development's going to go all the way out to 47. Is there any merit to having a, I guess I'd call it a work session, let's say, where we sit down and what are our total concerns with that corridor? It's not, to me, it's not just Pedersen. I mean, getting across anywhere in this town, somebody's going to get killed at any one of these intersections. I mean, I don't know if there's such a thing as have a work session where Craig can maybe facilitate it and maybe explain to us, you know, what that, you know, the ins and outs of dealing with the state of Minnesota and that highway, and I applaud the mayor for taking the lead in, you know, what he's doing when trying to get a stoplight, but I don't know if that's the end-all solution. You know, if we're trying to grow that corridor, you know, I don't know. To me, that I always used to be of the opinion, don't hinder I'm pretty impatient. Don't hinder my ability to get from point A to point B. 60 miles an hour all the way through. Now I'm kind of coming along to the other side where I wouldn't mind if that was 30 miles an hour like most state highways are going through little towns in the state. That would not bother me one bit. So I don't know if there's a merit to kind of sitting down and getting together and think, you know, talk about what really concerns all of us about that, and maybe Craig can give us some options, and maybe there's nothing that can be done other than what the mayor's doing, I don't know. But I do think there's a serious accident waiting to happen at any one of about 4 intersections on that stretch of road. So, I mean, I don't know if we necessarily have to do a special work session. If there's something coming up in the next couple months, add it to an agenda. I would be, you know, what do you think?
My thoughts, I guess, I agree with you 100% as far as looking into it, and I think anything has merit. Anything's worth looking into. And I'm all for it. I'm on board with Steve, you know, with a lot of that stuff. Take a look at it. I think the safety is number 1. But
Yeah.
So the staff is in the process of setting up that staff already. And so what we'll do is we'll get some topics out in discussion with their staff and see what could help at the council level that works for everybody.
Okay. I mean, my concerns stretch from Ambassador all the way down to Public Works. I mean, it's not just that one intersection. Maybe if you slow down the one intersection, obviously you're probably going to affect north and south as well. But okay, that'd be great. Then number 2, I guess it's been 6 months since Sunday sale went into effect. I wouldn't mind maybe sometime maybe hearing just a little report about, you know, how that's going. Has it been worth it to be open? You know, just kind of what are the numbers showing you? You know, nothing elaborate, but I wouldn't mind. Well, maybe I mean, Super Bowl's coming up. That could all change. That could swing your sales in that direction.
Yes, last Sunday was actually a very good Sunday for us. It's
before or after the game?
Well, if they were buying after, it wasn't from my store. So, no, it was good. Football helped. We'll see how, once football season's over, how.
Okay, I wouldn't mind getting maybe just a little 6-month,
Yep.
How's it been going? And then the only other thing I was going to mention, if you're looking at the upcoming events down here, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is canceled for this month, right? And then on February 5th, hopefully we're all hungover from exuberance from the Vikings winning the Super Bowl, so we have that to look forward to. That's all I have.
There you go. If that happens, I might. I don't have a lot to report this go around. After last meeting, I was working pretty much 16s with the cold weather. And then I was sick for 3 days last week, so that was fun. And I hope nobody gets it. It's not fun. Upcoming events, again, January 26th. Is that the word is escaping me.
Chamber of Commerce?
That's what I was looking for. The Chamber of Commerce annual dinner at the Refuge Golf Course at 6 p.m. And Rich, you already mentioned that the planning and zoning was canceled. On the 5th, our next council meeting, so enjoy the football season as long as it can go. Does anybody have anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.